Well, the blizzard we were supposed to get went up just a little bit, so we're only getting just some snow flurries and the howling winds. So if you hear the howling winds, that's the howling winds behind me. It sure is. I'd like more snow because I love the snow. I just love it. Anywho, since I came onto the YouTube, and really got serious about being on the YouTube, and didn't just watch who I watched on my first channel. That that thief that I covered and is now no longer on the web. And I went over to, start this channel. When I started this channel, I started really watching and learning from other creators. And one of them that I really like is I like Charlotte on the web. I feel like when she talks, it's just, like having a conversation with a friend. And I've always found her to be very fair. And so it meant a lot today. She gave me a shout out. And I'm so happy because I like her. So thank you, Charlotte. And thank you for all that came over from the clip that she played. For those of you who heard that clip, the open letter to Michelle is in its entirety. As you know that it does have some strong language, and I am trying my best to watch my mouth. I when I first came on, I didn't know about all of the words you couldn't say because I'm like, what? This is supposed to be, kind of a platform for that. And so I've done really well. But the way that she just manipulated everybody last night and tried to speak for others and implied that this is why we do what we do so we can get cash. And like I say, maybe the we is her and the turd in her pocket because it isn't me. It's like I've said to this date, I have not paid 1 cent for all that I've done on YouTube to this point, as you all know, for my open letter to Michelle. So my channel did get approved for monetization, and I'm trying to figure out all of that. It seems like about a third of my videos get rejected from monetization, and then a third of those that I put through from manual review seem to get rejected. So there seems to be the one third rule. Now, one of the things that's really interesting is that I narrated the entire Chris Watts Discovery series in an effort to stop some of the division between communities in the, you're pro this, you're pro that, instead of understanding that nobody knows what happens that night except for possibly Chris. As I've talked, and you know how I feel about the Watts and what happened, he may not even really know. So to have these people that, are out there with their pitchforks on either side, just, going strong for this and that and basing it on this and that reasoning, and seeing these creators not say anything when there's such misinformation that they allow in their comments and whatnot. It was my effort to kind of calm down some of that division by narrating the entire discovery. And I wasn't able to type at that time, and I wanted to continue to contribute because you guys have all been so nice and started listening to me. I didn't want to just leave you hanging. And so after I had my rotator cuff surgery and I had my bicep repair, so I had my arm all up, I couldn't type, so I could read. So I narrated the entire Discovery series from the Watts Discovery. And what that was it's a 1,690 page document that could be reduced to 6 pages of actual relevancy. It's all one document. I was the narrator for all of it. 1/3 of those videos were tagged as not suitable for monetization. Though this is where I'm saying there's something to how they reject it that seems to be on this 1/3 thing, because there just isn't enough difference between one or the other. I always do my intro, and then narrate. The 1,690, what I think I did it in 20 parts. So yeah, I'm just trying to get the hang of it, trying to see what that is. And then I guess I can do subscriptions now. I don't know how to do subscriptions, what that's all about. I don't know how to do the Cash App thing. I'm trying to figure all of this out. But my priority is giving you good content. My priority is not making money. As I said, I live to where if I need something, you know, we wait until we can afford it and then we get it. I live modestly, and the only problem I have is that I am having a hard time sometimes at the gas pump because my bank account will be a little low, and I would just like to be able to go to Starbucks occasionally and not feel guilty like I'm not, you know, giving my family something. So it's just those couple of things that, in exchange for the time that I do put into here, I would just like to, feel a little bit more comfortable in those areas. And at some point when people have that urge to buy me coffee or, slip me a $10 tip or whatever so that I'm a little more comfortable at the gas pump, that's great. As I share, my kids are all grown, and my youngest son has cerebral palsy, and so he doesn't drive, but he loves to go fishing, and everywhere that we can go in the Midwest and northern Canada, we go on all of our road trips that we do. We just do little day trips, and sometimes those are spaced out because I've got to get gas money to do so. So, just to be able to have the gas money to be able to do that, and then I can pay it forward by showing some of the beautiful places that I go, and I only wish that I could bottle the air because the air is so clear up. You get to that point past the cities, and something just changes, and you see the sky looking a little clearer and the air just feeling fresher, and you're like, wow, this is how it used to be. This is how it needs to be again. So I've gotten so many new subscribers to my channel, and I just wanted to say thank you. And I also wanted to explain why you're looking at this ugly, hideous black screen. Well, it's because I'm old. I'm old as shit, and I don't know how to do all the newfangled things that the kids do in editing software and everything. My One of my teenagers around here told me to do OBS, and I'm like, oh, what? I'm down with OPP. What are you talking about? OBS? I do not know. And they uploaded it for me and told me hit record. Okay. Ah! And a few times I've even messed it up. But they also showed me how I can read my documents, that I'm already reading, I'm minimizing and whatnot. So basically my channel is a listening channel. As such, many people find that I can put you to sleep, that I work better than Ambien in some cases, and I have been able to get a couple people off of Ambien by just talking. I have that talent. I used to take Ambien, so I think that's a huge thing. Is we don't want to talk about what is referred to as the Ambien years in my life. Yeah, we don't talk about that. I don't remember them because honestly, it messes with your brain so bad. But it has its place, and for short term, if you need it, you need it, and taken responsibly, it's a great drug. Just don't. Okay, what we ultimately had to do, my husband and I had an agreement that when I did need to take my Ambien, it was I needed to go, and he needed to shut the bedroom door and lock it from the outside so I didn't get out. And he needed to take my laptop because I would not understand that I was not with it when I took my Ambien. I thought that I was operating on all faculties. So when I thought that I needed to get up and write a quick email, I didn't realize that I had accidentally attached one of those Valentine's Day shoots that you do for the hubby to keep things spicy in the bedroom. I didn't realize that picture that I had sent to my husband, I had accidentally attached to a letter to my grandmother in an email and put like that, what is it, blind copy or copy. However it was, I sent every single person in my address book a nude picture of myself. And like I say, including my grandmother, my attorney. Yeah. Some people that, had done some roof work. It wasn't good. It just, I mean, that's Ambien for you. So I didn't understand because, my cell phone was just, blowing up the next morning. I'm getting all these calls. And they're like, hi. I'm like, hello? I like the email you sent me. And I'm like, I didn't send you an email. Yeah, you did. I didn't send you an email. Yeah, you did. It's okay. We can talk about it. You want to talk about it later? Huh? Yeah. Oh, yep. The Ambien years. So just stay away from computers. Just put yourself in your bed and don't get up. Don't go to the refrigerator. I mean, that's how there's all those stories, people going and eating raw hamburger and stuff. So anyway, don't do that. My channel is a listening channel. And so people like to listen when they're doing gardening, showering, driving, sleeping. So with that being said, thank you for coming on over. I'm sorry for my strong expression to Michelle, but now that you've all seen what she did last night, going over to a whole new side of the internet, playing victim, saying that, she got, this chick who put up all this stuff about her to take all this stuff down about her and, and she made up with her and she made up with that, because those people had just been doing everything to get her channel taken down and they're just a bunch of haters, She's over there getting a whole new source for her endless need of narcissistic supply. And I can hear you out there going, no, she has borderline. She has borderline. Because she told you so? Has she ever said anything truthful? And the psychologist who did so diagnose one that is Michelle. Was she sober at the time? How many years ago? Did he see her in what we see her in as the showered Michelle who wants to be reasonable and talk about things that trigger her and how she's making an effort to be sober? Or do we want to talk about the little girl Michelle that's like, I just thought that, I'd get on, or do we want to talk about the one who exploits her brother-in-law's unaliving? And, I just want to say something, for Pierre, just, really, horns up, just right. Okay. Just right, right. Yeah. He's up there. Yeah. Oh, my husband's in the chat. Oh, is this you? Hey, my husband's in the chat. Is this you? I love you too. And then go on and talk a couple weeks later about how, you're in this house alone because you are the survivor in a domestic violence situation. And, and you got the house and you got this and stuff. And then after a few drinks, you brag about euthanizing your husband's dog because he wouldn't come back. About poisoning the other husband. And all of the other things. Which Michelle was it that they saw that they gave the diagnosis of borderline to? Borderline personality disorder is on a spectrum, much as autism is on a spectrum. So where you see some people who can be very functional with autism to the point where they're not even diagnosed until it becomes problematic in their marriage and stuff like that. Or you see, people who are very disordered and, will never be able to live independently. That's the same for borderline personality disorder. As personality disorders go, they are a way of developing a maladjustment to something that occurs in your life in the formative years. Okay? Personality disorders are different than something like a bipolar disorder. Okay? One comes from the chemicals in your brain not working correctly, genetic mental illness such as schizophrenia. So you have those in one compartment, and then you have personality disorders. Okay? So those are two categories. Add substance abuse to already having problems in both of those categories, and then add alcoholism on top of it. Okay? Right? And then add just being a general twat on top of it all, and you have one big cluster. I think that borderline personality disorder at times was a catchphrase, and it was over diagnosed during a period of time. There was a period of time where borderline personality disorder was an automatic qualifier to get SSDI for life. I believe, based on what Michelle has shared with us, that is when she got her SSDI. I believe from the deduction of reasoning and what she has said and the characteristics that she displays, it would make sense that maybe earlier on when she was expressing some of the behavior that we saw 2 weeks ago, where she was threatening to unalive herself, it seems like a psychiatrist who didn't understand the brevity of all that is Michelle in a nutshell. Maybe that's why I should call her just Nutshell. Oh, that's it. I'm going to call her Nutshell from now on. You guys heard it. I'm going to copyright that shit too. Nutshell. All right, Nutshell. Okay. It's all of the cluster B personality disorders in one nutshell named Michelle. There. Mic drop. Snowball mic drop. Bam. Okay. I'm done. I don't need to say anything else. Completely did it. Thanks for listening. Goodbye. Just kidding. So, for borderline personality disorders, there's a very strict way of doing therapy and having those with borderline personality disorder managing their emotions and their life and making correct decisions moment by moment at times, hour by hour, could be day by day if they're doing well. It's a very specific and distinct type of therapy called dialectical behavioral treatment. made by Marsha Linehan. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a moment. To my loyal Watts followers, I know that you guys are frustrated with me. You're going, wait a minute. We follow you because you were doing all of this work on the Watts, and now you're doing Michelle content, and it doesn't make sense how one makes the other. And then some of you know me from the very beginning where I did Lori Beth, and you're going, wait a minute, what does Michelle have to do with any of those? Well, you know how I do this. Just like when you guys saw the headline a few weeks ago, and it was like, Diane Downs, Susan Smith, and Shanann Watts? Or Diane Downs, Susan Smith, or Chris Watts? You didn't see it there either, but I showed you. And so it's just all 1 degree away because you see, I really don't like people who abuse animals. I really don't like people who abuse substances and obtain those substances by taking money from people that don't have it to spare, and by manipulating and exploiting that money so that they can get those drugs that are received illegally and hurt people, which is something very near to and dear to my heart, which I will do a whole episode on one of these days. Okay. So Lori Beth, as you know, was the animal abuser and caused the demise of several animals. She actually also falsely accused her husband of SA so that she could get disability and child support, and bully and silence him into being a shell of a man that he once was. And he, is from Turkey, and so he didn't understand our legal system at all. And those that have lived in all of the states for all of their years cannot navigate the courtroom when you're dealing with a female narcissist who is falsely accusing you of SA or domestic abuse or abusing your children. They love the courtroom. These narcissists love the courtroom. It is their playground. They love it. It's this endless source of dividing people and getting all of this attention and the focus absolutely on them. So it's all there. The final straw, as you all know, is when she killed Lizzie Balls, the bearded dragon, by shoving 1,000 mealworms down his throat. And he died. Okay? Ultimately, she's not on YouTube anymore. She's not getting money from her brain damaged subbies, and she's not getting money from them either. Well, she's not getting money from them. She's not having them send her their opioids anymore. Sorry, I said it wrong. She was having them send their families opioids to her in the mail when they didn't have enough cash to send her. Okay, so that's where I started. So that's there. Okay. When I came on the Watt situation, it was the same thing, because people did not understand that there's a whole story that they were not paying attention to behind the scenes in what was really going on in the Watts house and with the adults in there, and the opioid abuse and the lies, the scams, the narcissistic abuse, the covert abuse, and not in the way that you think if you're new to my channel. No, 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 no. There was a whole lot more going on in there, and if you'd like to hear kind of where I come from on that, they're all here. My channel is not here to fight about. It is to just understand that none of us were there. That there's a whole backstory that was not told. And no, he didn't just confess and he needs to be no, 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 no. That's a whole different pattern. The creators who are trying to get the most headlines right now act like that. But he didn't confess as you think. There's more to the story. And that's all I'm trying to do is create less friction, less fighting, less us versus them in any topic, but especially in the Watts. So in the Watts, there is narcissistic abuse, covert abuse, animal abuse, child abuse. God, I'm probably flagging every bot, so I'm not going to get monetized on this. Just said, they're like, beep, 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 beep. No, I've got to learn to not do that. That's probably what's getting it every time because I say it, so I'm going to have to learn how to go around that. So then, come over here. You're like, well, what does Michelle have to do with this? Well, a lot of the fighting for the Watts came from the creator, who does not have a channel currently, named MOOLY. She started this whole thing and this fundraising thing, I guess, for Shanann's family, which I am trying to understand what happened, who was involved in it, how much money was given. If any of you were watching during that time and you know and you can explain it to me, please email me at tabithajane0@gmail.com. tabithajane0@gmail.com. I know that I had somebody, say, don't say that, don't ever put your email out on the internet. No. That's my specific email to this channel. It's okay. I'm not doxing myself. What I'm trying to figure out is how MOOLY was able to get that platform and act like she was so in with the Watts and whatnot, meanwhile not giving any research or facts to the case. Make fun of Shanann and then have Shanann's family see that and think that they want to pair up with this person and raise money with them and then go around and do meet and greets together to get money on this. It's really weird. So I'm trying to figure out who all was involved in that. Was it her father or was it her brother? Both are named Frank. One is senior, one is junior. I'm trying to find that out. Okay, so we're following this line here, okay? I don't like animal abusers, so that's where I started with Lori. Got in the Watts. We've got the animal abuse. We've got the child abuse. We've got the covert abuse. We've got the abuse in ways that you don't see it. You've got that and that. Then we go to Molly. Molly and the Watts match up. Okay, so we've got this other 1 degree of separation thing, right? Well, then Molly got a stalker named Michelle. And I started watching Michelle and found out that she falsely accused her veteran husband of abuse, which is why she's in the house, how she got the alimony, how she got everything else like that. And that's why I've started to do these videos on her, because I don't take kindly to people abusing veterans. But then she did my pet peeve, and started bragging about abusing animals. Okay? This is how they're all related. This is how they're all in my wheel well. We've got narcissist Lori. We've got narcissist Shanann. We've got narcissist MOOLY. And we've got the narcissist Michelle. And then, I know you guys are out there. No, but she says she's borderline. She can't be a narcissist. Okay, so there's going to be some people that feel strongly one way or the other. And I'm just going to say, I am not a psychologist. I am not in any capacity a therapist at all. I am finishing my master's in forensic psychology. I hold a bachelor's degree in psychology and a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I started law school and I had to stop because I had a massive heart attack at the age of 36 with my 6 children. Long ago and far away, I was going to be a nurse, and I worked in a hospital in a major city in the oncology unit. And my extreme latex allergy in 1996 caused me to have to drop out of my nursing program and put that dream away. So I have an associate's in science, got halfway through a nursing program, worked in nursing homes as a CNA, and then as a technician, a phlebotomist, technician, etc., etc. I could do everything except for pass meds at the point where I was at in my nursing program before I had to quit. Now everything's latex free. And I have done a plethora of professional public speaking. So I'm not a therapist. Not a therapist at all. I have spoken about the fact that I survived my own suicide and that I did spend 3 months inpatient healing from that. I have been in intensive therapy, so I can say that I've been on both sides. I've never, thankfully, had any problems with addiction or alcoholism or anything like that. However, there's not one sober branch on my family tree, which is why I grew up very separately and started running away because I thought they were all crazy and drunk. And I grew up in foster homes and homeless in between. So that's my story. So it is all connected, although it doesn't look like it. It is. All of them have caused problems on YouTube by exploiting YouTube for reasons that it is not there. YouTube is supposed to be a platform in which we are free to talk and like create our own little channels. You used to have to go and sign up to get a little spot on channel 9, and then on Friday night at 3 a.m. you could have your own little talk show from this time to this time. Well, now you can do this and have your own channel, and that's how it is. These are all interconnected. These are all people with personality disorders exploiting people for money. If the truth and the facts are not laid out, these people get away with it and they ruin good things for people long standing. So people are going to be able to lose cash apps altogether for people who work hard and put in. And that's my point in this, is that, YouTube has reasons for not allowing you to get monetized overnight. It has these provisions in there that, you need to earn 1,000 subs and have 4,000 hours of listening time, people that watch time. So, I sat at 980 for the longest time, and I had over 40,000 watch hours. So I had 10 times as many, but I don't get my subs because people look at the headlines and think that that I feel sorry for the Watts and I'm taking Chris Watts' side, and they see me as me wanting to be one of those women, a groupie or whatever, and they don't take the time to say no. I just don't go with the rhetoric. If I were to relabel my videos and put Chris Watts is a monster, I'd probably have 80,000 subs overnight. I'm not kidding. If you see how people manipulate that, but to me, the truth has more value in it than cheapening a headline. And one of the things I'm noticing is that the creators who put up these false videos with the false information, like I say, they don't interact with their subs at all, and they just get all of these subs. They make the money. They just recycle old content from her Facebook and post it up. They don't even do anything to it as per the Copyright Act, but there's no one to fight it. And they just do that. And then people are like, oh yes, she was so wonderful, she did this and that. No, you don't know what that was there. That was this, and she was locking her girls up for 15 hours out of every 24-hour day. They were locked up from 12 to 12 with no food, no bathroom privileges, and then from 12 to 3. 12 hours at night, 3 hours in the day. So those girls were not learning, and it was becoming increasingly clear. And then she was not making the house payments behind Chris's back and using them to act like she had won all of these trips and free airfare and all of that, when in fact she had not. So that's my little intro, and how you guys might be just subbing here and going, "How'd I get here?" You do that, and then for the rest of you who are like, "Wait a minute." So I should have the other Watts one out of review hopefully tomorrow, so I can hopefully put that one up. Um, if it gets rejected, I'm going to be mad because, like I say, there's other channels out there that have it there and just put it out, and it seems to go through just fine. I don't know why it's being rejected on my end, but anyway. So that's where I wanted to say, thank you to all of you, and to understand that this is a listening channel. With that, thank you for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. I Sorry, somebody just came to the door. So, okay, I'm still recovering from my rotator cuff surgery. So sometimes typing is still really painful. Typing and sewing are what are the worst. So sometimes I can't type back and the emails and stuff. I see what you're writing. Thank you so much for all of the kind things. I can do some typing and then it'll hurt and I'll stop. I will always get back to you. So once again, thank you so much for listening, and I will expound on the other topics soon. This is just a little hello, and please head over to my community page, as I do try to update that to show you things that I'm referring to as well. So thank you so much for listening. Thanks. Bye-bye.